Hello, my name is Patience Foster, and my group is presenting on social media's impact on obesity and eating habits. To begin with, obesity is a major problem in the United States. Today, 20% of America's youth are overweight. In addition, children age 8 to 18 consume media from screens for up to 44.5 hours a week. This can have harmful effects on children's mental and behavioral health. So we studied how these types of advertising through social media, such as advertisements, hashtags, and social media influencers, aid the expansion of childhood obesity. There are some studies that show that it increases obesity, while on the other side, there are studies that show it might have alternate effects.
Hey, my name is Hannah, and I went into intentional advertising. So, companies with the brands that are most targeted towards youth on social media, mostly of African American and Hispanic backgrounds, included companies like Mars, Pepsi Company, and Coca-Cola. Advertising takes on roles in social media that might be hidden within a feed or in a sponsored ad with an influencer. In a study on YouTube ads, a sample size of 187 ads were taken, and of those 187 ads, 38% were food ads, and of that, 56.3% of these ads were for non-core food, which are foods that are eaten more for pleasure rather than your health. As you can see in the chart, this is just the different ages ranging from 2 to 12, the number of ads they see per day, and the percent of ads recognized. So the younger you are, the less you're likely to recognize an advertisement or see that somebody's trying to sell you something that might be harmful towards your body. I also looked at different hashtags, such as the famous one, which is hashtag food porn, and in this study done by students at universities in the United Kingdom, so obesity patterns and culinary interactions. So this was a study on 164,753 Instagram pictures, which were posted on Instagram by restaurants by 3 million users. The researchers wanted to see how fast food restaurants in U.S. counties and obesity correlate with each other, and they found that on the popular website Foursquare, there's a correlation of 0.424. And at restaurants check-in with social media, the correlation was also 0.424. And you can see in this picture how the percentage of obesity would increase or decrease depending on the percentage of fast food posted on Foursquare. When looking at population density, the correlation was 0.267, and the highest correlation of the study was found with the population of children under 18 years of age posting on social media about these restaurants, and it was 0.499. Out of the restaurants studied, only 30% were actual fast food places, which was surprising, and it means 70% of the photos that were posted on Foursquare were for slow dining areas, as in you go in and sit down and have a meal. It also showed that neighborhoods within a 500-meter radius of multiple fast food restaurants have a significantly higher odds of diabetes and obesity, with one additional case of diabetes for every 2 new restaurants. Those within a tenth of a mile from a fast food restaurant have a 5.2% higher chance to be obese.
Hi, I'm Alex, and I looked into influencers and their role in all of this. So I read about a study that took 176 kids ages 9 to 11 in a convenient sample. So it would have been better to have a random sample to avoid any confounding variables. However, 176 kids, that's a good amount. So they took all of these kids, separated them into 3 groups, and each group watched a different video. All the videos had influencers in them, and one group watched a video that had healthy food advertisements, another group watched a video that had unhealthy food advertisements, and then the last group had no food advertisements. And these were all endorsements from the influencers who have thousands of followers. And afterwards, the kids were given an option of healthy snacks and unhealthy snacks, which were weighed both before and after to get more data. And as you can see from the chart, the kids who saw the unhealthy Instagram, they had higher rates of consumption as well as consumption of the unhealthy food. They had 26% more calories in consumption compared to the control, and they also had 32% more calories from the unhealthy food. In addition, influencers are not held accountable and they have no obligation to advertise healthy food. So yet again, we're seeing that the eating habits of our youth are being bought by the highest bidder.
Hi, I'm Grace, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the ways that social media can actually lead to weight management through exposure to posts about nutrition and exercise, and providing a platform for people to find support from others with similar goals. So there's 3 studies that I looked into that kind of contributed to this counter argument. In the first one, it was a study on 13 kids between the ages of 14 and 20 who were clinically obese. They were added to a private Facebook group in which they received posts 3 to 4 times a week about exercise, weight management, motivation, reaching your goals, things like that. And each of the children left comments, they left likes on these posts, and at the end of the 12 weeks, the amount of likes and comments were measured, and all of the children were interviewed. So most of the children found the Facebook support group helpful, enjoyable, motivating, and they would recommend it to other children who were struggling with obesity. The study also found that an increased number of comments and likes correlated to weight loss. So the next study that was done was a group of adults between the age of 21 to 65 who were also clinically obese. They were split into 3 groups. One group did not receive any type of weight management plan, while the other 2 received the exact same plan. It's just that between the 2 groups that received the plan, one was given the plan through a pamphlet, and the other was given the plan through Facebook with access to a similar support group as the first study did. Over 24 weeks, each group was expected to follow their weight plan if they were given one. Obviously, the control group didn't have one. And weights were compared at the beginning and the end of the 24 weeks. And this chart shows that it was found that the Facebook group with the support group, they had the greatest reduction in initial weight, and they had the greatest reduction in fat mass, as well as the greatest increase in lean mass. So the third study was a group of 33 people who were asked about their exercising habits. It was found that most of them exercised between 3 to 4 times a week or 5 and up times a week. Out of all of them, 27.3% followed some type of fitness account, and there was a correlation found between following a fitness account and instances of exercise. The only problem with this study is that the people that were asked, it wasn't a random sample, it was 33 people who own a wearable fitness device. So you can figure that people who own a fitness device are more likely to exercise, but there was a correlation found between following a fitness account and exercising.
In conclusion, we can see that obesity is still a big problem in the United States, and there are many incentives to find out what factors increase the likelihood of obesity and what decrease the likelihood. The studies have shown that aspects of social media, including advertising influencers, can increase the likelihood of obesity. And as we talked about, we've also seen studies that show that they can promote healthy lifestyles that decrease the likelihood of obesity. In general, more research is necessary to completely begin to understand the intricacies involved between social media and obesity, because the relationship is very complicated and there are other factors that could contribute to how these 2 elements interact with each other. So that is all we have. So thank you for listening to our presentation.